everybody. My name's Craig.
I'm Brian.
I'm Burke.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is Get Dunked On, the podcast.
So, can you tell me what you want? What you really
I was about
want?
to say no song, like you're just jumping
I'll
into
tell you what I
You
want.
threw me off so
What
much
I
on that one.
really want.
You threw me off so much on that one.
Wow. Funny story about that. Like last night, I don't know. Emily was on the bed doing something. Yes, not that. And like she just started singing that song, and I was like, just please fucking stop. No. And I didn't even talk to you about it. And here we are. I get to hear it 2 nights in a row, a song that I never wanted to hear again in my life. Thank you, Brian.
No problem. Does anyone know what a zig a zig ah even is? Like, I mean, like, have we ever really stopped to consider what that is?
I have never stopped to consider it, no.
I have, and I still have no answer. Granted, I'm sure a Google search could probably fix it, and they might have explained it at some point, but I don't know what it is. Michelle's like, BRB, I got this.
Well, there's clearly things that just some of us don't understand, and I'm going to get to that here in a second. So for the first time in a long time, and I've made this joke to Burke and Brian already in the last day or the last 24 hours, but I am complete. I finally feel like I can actually compete in this world now because my phone, my new phone was finally delivered, and I can actually answer phone calls now. I can actually move things. Like I can go from app to app and it doesn't take 25 minutes. I don't just sit at a white screen for a long time and then it goes, oh, I found it. Like I'm actually able to do things. And I was holding out for the long time because I had heard a couple of years ago that they're going to start putting in OLED displays and all this stuff in the new iPhones. And so with what the I'm going to call, because I don't give one shit about what it's officially named, the iPhone X, I finally got it delivered in.
Thank you.
I finally got it
I'm
delivered in.
so glad you call it the X.
I call it the X. It's
Fuck the 10.
Does it have another name?
It's the
Yes,
iPhone
it's
10
called the iPhone 10.
is the official name.
Wait, we skipped some numbers?
Just 9, and that's the part that kind of bothers me. And I get why it's the 10-year anniversary, and so it's like, oh, this would be. But I'm like, why not just not call the last one the 7S and just call it the 8, and then the model beneath it that was released at the same time, call that the 9 and this one the 10. Like I would have gone with that, but like, okay, that kind of makes sense. It's stupid, but it makes sense. I can go with it. But just straight up skipping 9 makes me like, oh, well, what about like, is it going to be the 9 next year? Are you going to 11, or is the how do you append this now? Anyway, that's not the main story.
It's the Windows Vista thing. It's like they skip right past it. They're like, no, we didn't do that one. Remember that?
But I just finally felt like, oh, thank God I can actually do something. And since I have a penchant for jailbreaking my phones, this is the first time in 3 years that my phone's not jailbroken because there's nothing publicly released yet for a jailbreak. And so for the first time in a very long time, I'm on the firmware that everybody else in the world's on. Yeah. And it's one that's just been released. So people are still trying to figure it out. Usually it's everybody else in the world gets these firmwares beforehand. I have to wait for a jailbreak to be developed and then released for, and I might join in like 3 months later. So usually by that time, people have already talked about different features. I've played around on other people's phones and I've learned things. But I got the phone in yesterday. I've had a crap ton of work and I felt like absolute shit yesterday. Luckily, I didn't have strep throat when I hung out with my mom. She has strep throat right now. And I thought I had picked it up at one point, but luckily it's just, I got just really shitty sick type of thing. And so with a bunch of work and a bunch of other stuff, I haven't had time to actually like play around on my phone all that much. It's been like, I'm going to go lay in bed and not do anything because I feel terrible. And then I'm going to go work for 12 hours straight. And so I was complaining today and I was like, fucking A, this is so stupid. And I'll show you guys on here real quick. I'll show you on the camera. When I go into the control center on the phone, like for people that have iPhones, when you do the swipe shit, when you do the swipe down, you can easily swipe down. You can easily turn on and turn off. Like, oh, I want to turn off Bluetooth real quick. You just swipe down, you turn off the Bluetooth or turn off the Wi-Fi or whatever it is. Like just like real quick.
Oh, you mean swipe up?
Well, it's on 11. If you're still on iOS 10, then it's swipe up. But yeah, for iOS 10, it's swipe up. iOS 11, it's swipe down from the corner.
Android has it too. You just swipe down from the top.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And it's just like a real quick thing to quickly turn on and off your like certain little things, right? Little options and like night mode or whatever they call it on this. I always knew it as Flux, but so I sat there and was like, this is fucking stupid because I've got all this room. Like I would say 50% of my control center screen is open. It's blank. Like I've got all this room and they can't put low power mode on there. Like if I want to conserve battery and not have any background apps refresh, like I can't just swipe down and turn that on. I was like, this is exactly why people jailbreak, because that's such an easy, stupid thing that you can have on there, especially with 50% of the screen open. So I sat there and I went out and I tweeted Apple. I was like, your product's dumb. Why do you do this to yourselves? Just, allow some of this stuff on there. And then I put it on Facebook. And not 3 minutes later, my cousin goes, hey, if you go to settings and control center, you can customize what buttons are on there. I was like, I feel stupid. I feel so stupid. I was like, this is the first.
I mean, to be fair, that's a dumb place to put it.
But this is the first time in a long time I've actually when I first got a device that I didn't have time to play with it for like 9 hours straight and like figure everything out about it roughly right off the bat. Usually the first thing I do is if I got a new phone or if there's a new iOS or a new dashboard for the Xbox or whatever is released, for the most part, I sit down and go, okay, what did they change? Let's go into each setting menu and see if there's anything different on here. Let's go into this. Let's go into that. And I just start playing around to figure out what's changed. And just being an adult now, and you don't have that time to sit around and just fuck with every single little thing, or at least I don't, which I used to. And then I immediately took the this is stupid, Apple, you're dumb. And I was like, I'm gonna go delete that tweet. I feel really dumb now.
Oh, wait, you didn't send an apology?
No, I deleted the tweet and just hope no one ever saw it. No.
They're gonna save that tweet and remember it for later.
That's fine. And if they want to bring it back up, I'm gonna say, hey, I was putting out fake news and I don't want fake news retweeted. I'm taking it down.
I'm gonna put it to you this way in a positive spin. If Apple puts in the effort to remember your tweet, that's going to make you significantly important.
It's true. But I mean, they remember everything.
Remember that one guy on that one podcast? Fuck him.
So I actually got a new phone too. I have moved back away from the iPhone for I guess this is kind of the second time ever since switching to one, but I guess the first time for my personal phone. So whatever, long story, I've gone from Android to iPhone, and I've had two phones forever, just because of work. So I decided I got sick of iPhones. I messed with the iPhone X, and it was nice, but for me, I was like, I want something completely new and crazy. Like I don't want to go Samsung, so I decided I went and got the Pixel 2. And the Google phone, because they advertised it a lot during the World Series too. Assholes. It fucking works. Hashtag it works. Yeah. Or whatever their signs say. But yeah, so I bought it, and one of the other factors that did help is I actually won a Google Home from my company. So I actually just set that up today, and the interface that it has with this phone and with other Google devices is just pretty cool. So, but yeah, I absolutely love it so far. There's still so much I'm just scratching the surface on getting back into Android, and I already want to root it and all that stuff. But we'll see where it takes us. But so far, I've loved it. But it's actually the one thing I forgot, and I figured that Apple would have fixed in the past, 5 years, is when you do leave Apple, they're like, no, fuck you, don't leave Apple, because no one can fucking text you.
Oh, that's
from an
right.
iPhone if you have iMessage. So I literally had to go in and experiment with some people, thank you, Craig, and some of my other friends and my wife's iPhone to go, this is what you have to do if you want me to receive your texts. Here's what you have to do. I had to go and disable iMessage. Then I had to get my friends to go in and sometimes some of them had to turn off their iMessages themselves, text me individually, so their phone would go, oh, he doesn't have an iPhone anymore, and then delete the group message, all the groups that I've been in. It's just fucking annoying.
The group part's dumb, but my phone immediately went, oh, he doesn't have iMessage anymore, and just sent it.
Mine didn't.
So I didn't have to do that. Mine immediately knew that you weren't on iMessage.
I still have one buddy in Houston who's still even just texting me, it's trying to send iMessages. And I'm like, and he's got the brand new 8. So it's not like it's an old hardware. I'm like, but whatever. So I forgot about that, because last time I kind of switched from my personal to an Android. I ended up switching it back because it was so frustrating trying to leave Apple because of iMessages. But I know I went down a rabbit hole of hate for Apple on certain small things, but whatever.
Yeah, so I also got a new phone.
What the hell's going on?
Not for great technology or anything, but because I dropped mine and smashed a phone this weekend. Although I will say that's the first time in 12 years owning a cell phone that I've ever broken one. So
well, that's pretty good
not
record.
bad.
What do you define as breaking? Like unusable, or it's
I mean, it was technically usable. It actually, the screen still functioned perfectly. It just kept stabbing me was the problem. I have multiple glass shards in my hands that are probably like microscopic because the phone was, pretty bad. So I can actually show you guys if I can get it out here. Maybe. But yeah, so I smashed my phone. So that's the reason I got a new phone, not because, it was great or anything. But yeah, those glass shards just kept getting in my hand. But yeah, so that's why I got a new phone. Mine's not as fancy as, either of theirs, but it's pretty good. It's the LG Power X. There's an X2. This is the X, and pretty much the best thing for me is that it's got a really great battery. I've been messing around on the phone all day and I still only lose about 1% an hour. That's what it's actually known for. Its battery is like twice as powerful as a lot of like standard batteries.
Does it explode like the
Samsung's?
No.
Well, then it's not as cool.
Like, earlier I had it in my vent clip in my car because that's where I always put my phone, and I had the heater on and I wasn't really thinking about it, and like so the heat was blowing on the phone a little bit, and the phone did heat up somewhat, but it literally on the phone was like, hey, your phone's heating up, like we're gonna disable, to turn down the brightness. It turned off Bluetooth and it like did a bunch of things to just automatically help cool it down.
Oh, that's cool.
I've done that with my phone before, the iPhone 6. I put it on there and it goes, we're literally shutting the phone off because it's way too fucking hot. And I didn't realize I just had it right in front of the vent. I was like, oh shit. And I tried to touch it. It was only for like a couple minutes. And I usually don't turn on the top vents. I usually just use the foot ones. Like that's good enough. And then I wasn't paying attention. So that's what that was. I was about to say that I never broke a phone, but I dropped my phone on some tile once when I was drunk. Technically, the back shattered, and that was it. So the front was fine, just the back looked shattered as hell. And I was like, but I never broken a phone to where it wasn't usable. And then there was a time Brian and I were weightlifting, and I dropped a dumbbell on it, and it completely shattered and tore off the entire top part of it.
Oh, that's right,
yeah,
you did.
It was bad.
No, I forgot about that.
It was really bad, and that was.
I've thrown a few phones.
I think that might be behavior you might need to change, Berkey. You might need to change that behavior of throwing phones. Your phone's too nice now to start throwing.
Yeah, it's not getting thrown.
As of now.
As of now, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to throw it and switch back to iPhone. And
that's not happening. But speaking of changing behavior, that's kind of in the ballpark of what we're going to be talking about today. We got into a little rabbit hole talk the couple weeks ago about things that we kind of wished were and this is going to be basically coming from an American culture standpoint so anybody that happens to be out of country or maybe even regionally to where we're at, I don't know. It's just going to be based on our bubbles that we've been in before.
Regionally, we cover the whole U.S. in this podcast. All right, we got the East, we got the North.
Sort of. There's three of us that were from the 3 square miles from each other, and then Burke.
But not where we live now. I'm just saying.
But our growing up is from that one little area.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, I know what you mean.
we got the Yankee. We got the Michigan guy who doesn't do a damn thing because it's Michigan, it's Detroit. You got to make fun of it. Now you got the South guy named Craig who lives in the most.
That's true.
He's totally the most conservative of us all.
Lives in the country music capital of the U.S. of A.
Country music and the church, or Bible Belt.
That's true.
And then you got me who just smokes weed all the time. So
but we're just going to talk about things that we go, you know what? This isn't normal. People wouldn't consider this normal. People might even scoff at it, but this should be normal behavior. And that's kind of the basis of where we're going to sort of jump off on this one. So does anybody have a good one that they kind of want to start off with?
I mean, I think all of mine are good.
I think mine are good, but I don't know. Okay, how about this? I'll lead it off, but only because I think that mine. I might have taken this a little too seriously based on your guys' description.
I also took it very seriously.
Okay, good, because I was reading through mine and I'm like, oh god, I wrote an essay instead of doing the easy stuff. But all right, I'll just do my first one because we got a few of them. One behavior that I wish was normal that is not normal is being able to tell people that they are wrong and then have that followed up with, oh, why do you think that? And having a civil discussion as to why I think that they are wrong or vice versa.
Oh, wait, before you get going, let me go to my number. I labeled mine 1 through 5 as we were trying.
Yeah.
I have number 6 and I put on here, probably won't get to it, but civil discourse.
Civil discourse.
So I didn't put this on my list. I almost did, but I was like, you know what? Somebody else will probably cover this. As somebody who works in retail, 100,000% wish that I could do this, because to me it kind of falls into this there's this mentality like the customer is always right. They're never right. They are never right. But it's like you have to they're always right. Your client is right, your customer is right, and it's like I wish we could actually kind of get rid of that mentality. And I think it kind of falls into that a little bit, like being like, not, you don't have to be rude about it, but just respectfully being like, no, I'm sorry. Like, you are incorrect and I don't need to do this for you because that's not, whatever.
Sure. Mm-hmm. When I wrote it down in my head, I thought of things like, let's just say that you're talking to somebody who's blatantly wrong about something, like, I don't know, the Earth
Flat
being
earthers.
round. Yeah, and you're like, look, hey, here's the deal: the Earth is round, and then their response is, hee haw, no way, and then they shut you down, they yell at you, and they get in your face. But on the flip side of it, it's like, hey, here's literally every piece of scientific evidence that we have on the Earth and the fact that it is round. And they go, oh, I'm glad you shared this with me. I apologize. I did not realize I was wrong. Could you imagine that world? I can't.
I can never imagine a world where somebody actually goes, you know what? You convinced me, when they were on one side of the fight. I just can't imagine it. I can only imagine if they go, I don't really know. Is that true? And they go, oh, okay.
To be fair, though, I couldn't imagine a world where people actually still believe this shit until I realized that people still do believe this shit. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Who would like to go next?
I'm just so defeated when I learned that, like, I thought it was like a joke at first.
I did too.
But then when people,
I was like, it was like one of the first people I heard about like talking about it was like Tila Tequila, and I was like, well, no one's gonna take her seriously. But then like it turns out this is actually like a thing that people besides her actually believe, and I was like, oh,
B.O.B.
I thought she
Shaq.
was just like dumb and drunk, but like no,
Wait,
like
Shaq. Yeah. Dude, that dude's tall enough to see the curve. He cannot say.
That's the funniest thing. And his thing goes, I've driven across the country. I didn't fucking turn down ever. I was like, oh my God.
No. He's on the phone, Colby. The Earth is flat.
No, it's like, that is just the worst argument ever.
Wait. If he drove across the country and he never went down, I've got an inherent problem with that, because at one point he had to cross some mountain fucking range and he went down. Right?
That's accurate.
I don't know. That was just, and I'm paraphrasing, so Shaq, don't come sue me. Actually, Shaq, if you're listening, holy shit, hey, dude.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
He's listening. He's like, I've been a long time listener. All right, you bearded bastard.
But like,
yeah, you guys had a basketball symbol. Of course, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah. Get dunked on. I thought this was about me.
So. Based on the one you just did, Brian, the one you brought up, is everybody else's roughly in the same sphere of like sort of seriousness?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
I think one of mine is a little goofy, but for the most part, it's Okay,
mine are. When do we want to interject my little dry ass in there?
We'll go back and forth.
Okay. We'll go to mine right here then, just real quick. I don't know if this one's regional. I just know it's something that I've experienced down here a lot, and in California it was the same way, at least when I was driving, and I may have just found the one couple assholes here and there, but it seemed consistent out in California. It seemed consistent in a couple other places I've been for work. I've been to 6-7 states or whatever. Brian, you might be able to attest on this one as well. I can't stand that the entire country doesn't adopt the practice of when someone is merging on the highway, you help them get on the highway if you are able to, and it doesn't cause you discomfort.
Oh my God.
People. Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I was just experiencing this today because the highways I take back and forth from Philly, where John's parents live, there's literally an area where this highway joins the other highway. And generally, and then it's like there's an exit right after. And like 99% of the cars, these cars are trying to get over here. These cars are trying to get over here. But do they play nice? No. They sit there and like sit next to each other. And it's like, dude, we could just, switch places. But no, you're being a fucking asshole and you're like, I'm going to try to speed up and like, it drives me nuts.
And mine is mainly just entering or like merging onto the highway where you're merging on. And at least here for sure, it is not any form of a thought process to go, oh, this person's merging and they have a limited lane to merge onto. I could slow down 2 miles an hour, or I could speed up slightly and help this person get on where they don't have to, just move over one lane. If possible, like they will be the only car and they will just sit there at the same speed you are. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to floor it now and like run it past you, or I have to slam the brakes on to get behind you and then hope I don't get rear-ended by the next guy that's right behind you. That's not going to adjust their speed in any capacity or their heading. It is just one of the top things that I've experienced in a lot of other places, in a lot of other parts of the country. And again, I don't know if it's something that's just I've happened to run into all the assholes that just don't do it and don't care. But it seemed like in Michigan, and at least our area of Michigan, it was a thing. Like you got over, or you sped up, or you slowed down to try and help the person get in. If you had the ability, if you didn't have the ability, then no one's going to fault you. Like, you don't want to hit anybody. This is just a shit situation. But there's one car in the entire highway. It's 3 a.m. Here, that car's not going to do a damn thing. They're just going to sit in there, and it's usually a pickup truck that's lifted, and they're just going to sit there the entire time. And I'm like, are you fucking just move, please?
Yeah, and like for me, obviously y'all grew up a little bit further out, in the country, right? Just a little.
Not
it wasn't like big, but it wasn't like metropolis, Yeah, like so driving, and I've driven a lot. Like when I'm in the middle of nowhere, I notice that happens a lot more. Like
which
in
one?
The city,
which one happens a lot more? I want to make sure I understand.
Like people getting over, mainly people getting over to let you in on entrance ramps. Like it happens a lot more. People are a little bit more courteous, but in the city, it's like fuck you, middle fingers are flying. Like we're not getting over. Good luck getting in. Like I still try. One of the other I kind of had two things that went along with kind of yours in driving, Craig. One thing is like getting on the freeway, and especially in Houston, like all the freeways are like 5 lanes wide at any given point sometimes, and getting like people that get on the freeway and obviously just like whip over from the far right lane to the far left lane because they think they're going to go faster than everyone else, and then they cause like everyone to slam on the brakes and cause traffic. Like those people, no, just get over, work your way over slowly, and so you get the feel of the fucking traffic flow, so you're not causing more traffic. And then the other thing that really annoys me is when I'm in the middle of nowhere on a country road or even in the city. Get out of the motherfucking left lane. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of the lane. I'm trying to pass you. I will sit behind you, ride your ass, honk my fucking horn because I'm an asshole. Like, get the fuck over. It says it. Every fucking 5 miles, it's different per state. But, like, move over except to pass or whatever, or slower traffic, keep right. God fucking damn it. You're going the goddamn speed limit. Slow down. Okay. So whatever. I hate
that one too.
Those are some of my behaviors that just absolutely annoy me. And because the only thing, they're in their own fucking world, not thinking about anything else. And it kind of goes back to everyone else. Like, I'm right, you're wrong, we don't want to have a discussion. I'm the only person in the fucking world that matters. Fuck you if you're driving faster. No, fuck you. Think about other people, you little dick. Sorry. All right, I'm done.
No. I am totally with you here. My first behavior was also driving related. And this was actually what I was thinking about at the time that we brought up this. Mine is, and this is kind of like Craig's experience, where growing up in Michigan, in the area that I grew up in, this was a completely normal thing. And then it's not done in any other area that I've been either traveling through or lived in. And it drives me nuts. And that is pulling over for emergency vehicles. People here don't do that.
Really?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was taught when I was driving that when there's emergency vehicles coming from whatever direction, you kind of slow down, you try to move to the right, come to a complete stop if you can.
That's the law.
Put on your blinkers, don't block roads and driveways.
Yes.
And people don't do that here. Like, they don't move lanes. They don't stop. I've seen people literally are just like, they'll look at the ambulance, they'll look at the traffic light, and they'll be like, okay, I can make it. Like, I've seen people cut them off, and cause accidents. And it's just like, I don't understand where this mentality is, like, that it's not okay to do that.
Wow.
That's insane.
And I'll truthfully tell you, I didn't know that was actually a law. Like, I mean, I knew you were supposed to, like, not be in the way, but I didn't know, like, actually stopping was the law. I was just told that was just the nice thing to do. But like, it boggles my mind. Or they'll, like, stop in the middle of the intersection, and then I'm like, that's where the ambulance is trying to turn, like, move, you idiot. Like,
wow.
And it's just like, and it's not, to me, it's not that hard. Like,
no, it's not.
You're usually going to be close to the edge of the road anyway. If you're on a two-way street, you move over. And if you're on a multi-lane thing, like, get to one side or the other, like, just do something.
I just can't imagine it. Like what must be going through these people's heads? It's like, oh, there's an ambulance trying to get to somebody who clearly needs an ambulance. I think I can go ahead and block this lane.
It's just like
what do you mean?
The second I hear sirens, or the second I catch just this flashing out of my eye, I'm looking all around like, okay, where can I go so I'm not, there's no chance in hell that I will be, obstructing this vehicle. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure that if you try to do the, going back to mine, if you try to have a civil discussion with the person and explain that to them, like, well, what if you were the person who needed an ambulance? Their response would be like, I'll never need an ambulance. I'll live forever.
Exactly.
I have one other driving one that we could probably knock through quickly. You guys are either going to hate me or you're going to agree with me. I don't think there's middle ground on this one. I really don't. I don't like when it's usually a highway system. This is usually when you see it in different things on a highway. And let's say there's either construction or some form of lane closure. Like the lane just ends on its own. Like it's just natural. Like, hey, we don't need that many lanes anymore.
Is this about the assholes who wait till the last second?
This is about the people that do not use that extra lane and back up traffic another 3.4 miles because they're like, oh, well, I can't cut. Like, it's not cutting. Use the lane. The traffic will dissipate like in 50% of the time. So I think this is what I'm saying, where I might be the person you hate, Michelle. You use that entire lane. Like,
I don't have a problem with people using the lane. My thing is when they speed, they go 70 miles an hour until they hit the closure, slam on their brakes, and then are trying to get over.
No, as long as they're not like slamming on and being reckless, but like use the entire lane until you have to get over. It is mathematically better for everyone in the world to use that lane, because otherwise you're taking out this entire area and you're pushing it else. You're taking out in that entire lane and you're pushing.
So you're the guy who goes to all the way to the very end before
you do that.
No, that's an asshole.
No, you are supposed to do that.
Okay, I'm actually going to say I think I'm in the middle ground
instances.
on this.
Yeah, so there's two instances. There's the one where the lane ends and obviously, or it's like an exit only, or like let's just say you're going, the lane ends in front of you. Use that lane, use the lane, or you're going to cause more pile up behind you. And then you're going to cause some guy who's just going to get over in the right lane and you're going to get pissed off at him. So if you're already filling up that space, you're okay, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to get pissed off at the space. But the problem is when you, is kind of like Michelle's like, let's say it's like an exit only and like people have lined up in that exit only line and traffic's backed up. Like, I hate the people who are in the next lane over and just fly past everyone in where traffic is and then slam on their brakes and cut down.
That's not what I'm talking. I'm not talking about exit. I'm talking like the lane. You're on a highway. Let's say it's 3-lane highway. Or like it's a 4-lane and it goes down to a 3-lane because of like just the lane closed itself or like construction or whatnot. It's the people that are like no one uses that entire left lane for like an entire mile. I'm like, that's an entire mile worth of cars that are now backed up in other areas, hitting more cars now. So the traffic backup is getting longer and longer.
I'm talking about like it's where it's like, oh, lane ends in 1,500 feet, and people are like 1,500 feet is not a lot of space.
If you can see the end of it, then it's too late. In my opinion, if you waited until you can see the end of it, then you're the asshole.
No, you're not even an asshole in that point. As long as you legally get over it, there's no problem.
I think you are, because here's the thing. Even if your intent is pure, to me being in the middle lane at this point, right? I'm picturing being in the middle lane, and then the left-hand lane is closed, right? And I'm driving, and I see you go past me, even though, and then you get in like 3 cars ahead of me. Are you at a standstill and
the person to the left of you is just going 35 miles an hour to make sure no one pulls out in front of them?
Yes, but you go all the way to the end of it, and you get in 3 cars ahead of me. I think you're an asshole.
No, that's
your own fault, because you have the ability to drive and do that yourself.
But then I would have to leave the lane that I was in, go over there, cut past the people that were in front of me in that same lane, and then go back in ahead of them and hope that they let me in. I think it's a dick move.
Into 3 cars. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can go into like, okay, you got up 3 cars. Now you just think you're more important. But if you're driving and you're like, let's just say, for a fact, the construction's in 2 miles. And everybody
2 miles, that's far. You're fine in 2 miles.
Right.
I'm saying like if you can see it. If you can see it.
If you're on a flat Houston ground and you can see 1.5 miles in front of you.
Well, that's 1 mile in front of you. That. I'm expecting when you come over the hill and you see
half a mile in front of you. You can go all the way up until you are fucking forced to get over. It decreases the amount of traffic for every fucking human involved and will dissipate the traffic more. Like, it's just, I think I don't like it when people do that. The thing that you're saying, Brian, is when they're like, they honk at you and shit. I'm like, oh my God, if you guys all did this, the traffic may have been dissipated by now and no one would have been held up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll jump in again next, because my other 2 were actually not driving related. I just had the one. My other 2 are actually social etiquette behaviors. And I know one of them is definitely going to... I always get kind of crucified for this belief because people don't agree with me. I wish it was more normal for people to have to introduce themselves rather than for people to have to introduce other people. So like,
I will go with you on that one.
When I go places where I don't know people, if I want to talk to them, I will introduce myself. If I don't, I won't. But like, I hate when I take people to a place where I know almost everybody and they don't. I get it. Like, they're going to a place with a bunch of people they don't know, but you're an adult. You can walk up to people if you want, and you can say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and like start talking. I don't want to have to sit there and 75 times be like, yeah, this is, so-and-so. Like, it drives me nuts. And people are like, you're so rude. And I'm like, I don't think it's rude. Like,
you're the go-between.
You're just a capable. Yeah. But like, I also like, I would hate if people introduced me to people. Cause like I said, if I want to talk to them, I'll go talk to them. I don't want to be forced into it by being like, oh, hi, this is Michelle. And I'm like, oh, now I got to talk. Like, I'd rather just. And then my third one is literally like, small talk shouldn't be necessary. It just kind of jumped into that. So.
I'm with you on both of those. I fucking hate, we always go to, and Sarah's finally figured it out. Today, she just asked me, she goes, hey, do you want to go to my company Christmas party? I go, if I'm being truthful, no, I have no interest.
Nope.
Yeah.
And so usually she's just like, oh, you're going to come, and I would go. And it's just the thing where she constantly had to introduce me. And I told her, I was like, I can talk for myself, Sarah, if you want. She's like, well, but it's the nice thing to do. I'm like, if you really want to do it, I guess. But I just want to let you know, I don't give one shit about any of these people or remembering their names or faces. So like, let them make the impression on me.
Yeah, like I get that it's nice, but I don't think it's rude not to, which I think is the part I wish was different.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it shouldn't be a required thing.
Yeah. Like in a business profession, obviously it's different. Like, hey, this is a new person I'm introducing you to, blah, 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 blah. But we just had my Christmas party. Yes, super early in the year. It's cheaper. Whatever. Who knows? But Emily came with me. She didn't know that many people, but I didn't introduce her to that many people. Like, I'm like, like someone would come up, oh, is this your wife? Yep, that's Emily. Like if they wanted to talk to her, they could talk to her, because both of us are fairly introverted. We're like, if I want to, like, kind of like Michelle, if I want to talk to you, I'll talk to you, kind of a thing. Like,
see,
it's what it is.
See, I mean, I can understand that, and because it is, I mean, that's the whole point of this podcast, is that it's behaviors that were normal. Like, see, like for me, that doesn't bother me as much. I would rather someone introduce me than me have to go introduce myself to all the people, because like I like the idea of, like, if someone invited me to, like, let's just say that I'm with somebody and the girl says, I want to take you to my work Christmas party and introduce you to all of my work friends, then I would want her to introduce me, so I could like use it as a lead in and make a good impression to reflect well on the person I was with. But I understand what you're saying, that you don't want to necessarily have to make that small talk and do that sort of thing. But I kind of like, I get why it exists.
It's not even just that part too. Like, say she walks up to somebody and she's like, oh, hey, Bob, like, good to see you. And she, hugs, shakes hands, whatever,
Sure.
Natural, instead of her having to turn around and being like, okay, and here's Brian, like, which I feel like actually is kind of awkward. I feel like then it would be more natural for you to just stick out your own hand and just be like, hi, I'm Brian, like, I'm with so and so tonight.
That's exactly
that makes sense.
That's exactly why I agree with Michelle. It's not necessarily that you can't introduce someone. It's just the fact that it's considered probably faux pas that you introduce yourself the entire time, or that it's expected. Oh, if Michelle and I go to her work party, she has to introduce me. So I'm completely on board with that. And I'm
not disagreeing with you. This is not an argument. As I said, I understand why it's a social thing. I get that. Makes sense. Well, it's a Burke. Give me one of yours.
All right. So I have one that might be controversial, but it's probably because I've traveled a little bit.
Here we go.
I do not like tipping.
I okay. Explain yourself first, because
So I know there's reasons, and I know why we tip in this U.S. I know the history behind it, all that fun stuff. If you don't go watch Adam Ruins Everything, he'll explain it to you, or someone like that. I know he's done something.
The show
but
too, don't worry.
Like, yes. So like for me, it's I know we don't pay servers, and it's the restaurants, which for me is absolute bullshit. They should just get minimum wage and pay their fucking employees. But that's me. But like, so like when I go to a restaurant, I'm like, I don't know this. The restaurant could pay them, and here I am just giving away my fucking money on a really expensive meal for someone who actually gets a lot of fucking money. Like I know they're in service, it's not like a lot, but you can make some money in that industry, and because I've done it, I've made money off of it. I understand it, but like
I know someone who makes $400 a pop 6 days a week.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's stupid. Like I don't need to be giving away money. I'm paying you for a service that you've given me already. Mm-hmm. Like if I think you did awesome, here's a fucking great tip. Like I have no problem tipping you for, but also if you like are a complete asshole to me, and it's not one of those restaurants I go to pay to be treated like an asshole, like I have no problem not giving you shit for a
tip.
tip.
You're saying that you want a tip to be an actual tip then?
Yes, that's what I feel the same way.
That's what tipping should be.
Because here in America, we reduce wages based off tips, which I'm pretty sure we're like the only country in the world that does this. So like one of the first times that I went out to eat in Canada, like I felt so stupid because I like asked my Canadian friends, I'm like, do I tip this girl? Like, and they were like, yeah, like if you want to, you can, like, and basically it is what, you guys think it is. It's like, if, the waitress blew you out of the water, like you're going to tip her, but if they were okay, you're just going to be like, eh. But like here, it's like, you're pretty much, even if they're terrible, you like sit there and you're like, God, they make like $1 an hour.
Yeah.
Like, and
you're socially pressured into
it. Which is,
the other thing that bothers me too is
hate.
Then the flip side of that is there are places that restrict tipping, and it's like, that shouldn't be your call, because so like for example, I am not allowed to take tips at work. I have had people try to tip me for various things, because I spent 2 hours helping them, because but I am not allowed to take tips. I can get fired for it. And in my opinion, that shouldn't be anybody's business, because that person's choosing to do it, because it's not a situation where it's a social obligation. They know I don't get reduced wages. So, so I'm with Burke here that I wish it wasn't up to us to pay restaurant employees, and that tips were really truly like, hey, you did amazing. Hey, you really helped me out. Thanks a lot. Like, have a nice day.
Yeah, like
Sure.
like I don't know if you've ever like there were times where like I had just excess money, which is, you know, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I did. I was like, and I went to a IHOP or Denny's or something, and this girl was saying, I don't know if I'm going to make rent this month. And I felt she didn't know I overheard. I gave her like $100 tip because I was like, whatever, I don't care. I don't need the money. It's going to something good use. Sure, maybe not. But I would much rather do that. And, you know, and she was like, you made a mistake. And like, I was like, dude, no, you're good. And I just walked out and never saw her again. Like that. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but like for me to be tipping in that kind of a mindset and that kind of a, I guess,
it's help when you
towards
could.
other ones. Yeah, it's helping someone. It's not going here so you can, you know, pay your bills. You know, that was like, here, you did a fucking awesome job and you needed this and I've got excess. Here, go. But the way it is now, it's like, here, this is a fucking obligation. Do it or you're gonna get frowned upon.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
I'm in the same group where it's just, I wish it's not that I don't like, or I can't go through and do the system that's there. Like I'm not tipping now. It's, I just wish the system was different. I wish the people made the money they deserved. I don't know what that number would be, but I wish they made the number that they, you know, wish they made the money that they deserved. Tipping was not an expected thing. And it was hey, you did a great job. Here's my money. And I wish, like for your thing, Michelle, where tipping should not be restricted in certain areas. If someone wants to say like, hey, you did really great, then they should be able to give you a tip for in any line of work, in my opinion.
Okay, let's think about this logically. Like as a server, obviously I'm not one of them, but like you go up to someone, are you going to work better if you know someone is going to tip 10%, 15%, 20%, or if you do a fucking amazing job, they're probably going to give you more. You either have a chance to get a little bit or something awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going to innately want to do better unless you're just an asshole. But like you're like rewarding people. Yeah, obviously money is not the ultimate reward, but rewarding people for good behavior is going to make them even try even harder in most cases.
Most cases. Yeah.
Most cases.
I mean, okay. So that actually ties into one of my next ones. So this is one that controversial, a little bit controversial as well. So behavior that has become very normal and very mainstream now is trolling. And I think that not only should trolling be punished to the fullest extent of the law, but you should have what I call an asshole tax. And if you're caught trolling intentionally, then you are fined multiple times, and multiple fines result in actual jail time for trolling. Now, I want you to think about this. This is the way I look at trolling. When trolling first started, it's like the show Jackass. Do you remember Jackass? It was funny, right? You're like, oh, these assholes, they're totally messing with people. That's hilarious. But when the whole world is Jackass and everybody's Johnny Knoxville, and it's not so funny anymore. And that's what the world is to me right now.
I think we kind of touched on this before. I think I was telling you guys about this before.
Practical jokes.
Where I hate the prank videos on YouTube because it's like...
Yes.
But I'm not talking about just like pranks. I'm talking about trolling in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking about like you go up and you say, oh, I would, you know, like, not just sarcasm, but like you do stupid shit and it fucks with the world. You know what I mean? Any sort of trolling. And it's just like, oh, I like to just mess with the establishment in some way, shape, or form. Fuck you. I'm just done with it.
Especially with strangers. Yeah.
Like it used to, like, you know, like the internet is literally made of trolls. And I get that. That's where it's, you know, where it all started. But you know what? I'm done. It was funny for a minute, but Jackass is over. I'm tired of it. Needs to be an asshole tax. So that's what behavior that I wish was normal, is that we could actually punish people who are trolling intentionally. If you find somebody doing any sort of trolling, fucking punish them. Over. Cut that out.
Very passionate.
I hate trolls. I'm so over
why do I
it.
feel like this completely stemmed from Brian? You were playing Overwatch and someone picked Widow right off the bat, and you wanted them to be put in jail for it.
First off, Widow's a clutch pick. It was an offensive Symmetra, damn it. But yeah, no, like, I don't know. I just feel like that should be a thing. Like, you know, once again, like, this is the kind of something I had written down as like a side thing, but like certain things need to be like regulated and punished a little harsher, so in my opinion, like for example, like the trolling thing, I feel like a crackdown and that would be great. And also let's just say, I don't know, I'm throwing this out here, if you happen to be a Nazi, you can get punched in the face, like, and just and you can't sue for it, like stuff like that, like, you know what I mean? It would be great if we could do some shit like that, but
I can't agree with that. But okay.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one at all.
I would laugh.
I'm not saying I agree with Nazis, but
I'm saying if you're a Nazi, you get punched in the face, and no one and you can't sue for it. That's what I'm saying. Because like, well, you were a Nazi, so just saying.
Okay. All right. So I don't have any Nazi punching quiz questions. Sorry,
Damn
Brian.
it.
You're probably not going to do
Goose egg.
well. I know. I didn't know that was coming down the pipe. So, but I do have around 13 questions regarding behavior, and specifically just kind of around American behavior versus the rest of the world.
Ooh, okay.
So hopefully y'all didn't do a bunch of research on this, because that's what my quiz is. All right. So, question number 1. In what European and South American country, so answer for 2 points, European and South American country, does the OK symbol with your hand, little, make the finger and the 3 finger, or the 3 point for basketball fans, does that OK symbol mean asshole?
What's the order?
And Brian, Craig, I'm sorry, that's next quiz for next week. Craig, Brian, and Michelle.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna want to make sure I verify this. You said one European country and one. What was the other region?
South American.
South American country.
And there are multiple ones, but there's
Right.
2 specific ones I'm
gonna
looking
go
for.
with. I'm just gonna say the UK as a whole.
Okay.
I don't want to break it down in a specific area of that, and I'm gonna go with Brazil.
I was also thinking Brazil, but I'll say Brazil and Spain.
I'm going to say Brazil and Portugal.
So everyone will get 1 point. Brazil was the South American country. One of the other options was Venezuela.
Oh.
I was gonna say Venezuela, but isn't Venezuela central, or am I wrong?
No, it's South American.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I was wrong, but I was gonna say Venezuela
It's further
because I
south
knew
than
that one because
Brazil.
of Miguel Cabrera.
Okay. Yep. So, and then the European country is Germany. That take the most offense to it.
Interesting.
France is also kind of one of them, and so is Turkey. Yeah. There you go. I don't know what part of Turkey, so it could be the Asian version, but
Probably the breast.
You just got our podcast demonetized on YouTube.
We almost made it a whole podcast without a boob joke.
No, it wasn't a boob joke. It was a
Brian.
turkey joke. You said what part of Turkey, and I said the breast. Turkey breast, assholes. I'm not, way to go sexual with it.
Sure.
You guys just got dunked out. Play the end music.
And Brian loses.
Hey, I made a great pun.
That was good. All right, question number 2. What commonly used hand gesture used for the Aggies is offensive in West Africa, South America, and most of the Middle East?
I'm gonna go with thumbs up.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say is thumbs up.
Can you repeat the question?
What commonly used hand gesture for the Aggies is offensive in West Africa, South America, and most of the Middle East?
I'm going to say waving.
Yeah. It is thumbs up.
Yes.
So I tried to appeal to some of the sports fans, and hopefully someone would get that one right, because it's like, do a hand gesture. Good luck guessing it. There's a couple. All right. Question number 3. When visiting a country with a large Buddhist population, what part of the body on someone else should you not touch?
I'm gonna go with their shoulder.
Okay, and I think it's the forehead.
I'm going to say their hands.
Okay. The answer, I'm going to give Brian a point, because it's just the head in general.
Awesome.
So it's the head. Yep, because it's considered sacred in kind of the Buddhist religion. All right. Question number 4. In Vietnam, what does crossing your fingers symbolize? As in, like you're for luck. So you're like, yep, crossing your fingers.
I'm going to go with it symbolizes
It's actually kind of it's. Let me say this. It's negative. If that helps.
I was going to say it's a specific curse word.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that crossing your fingers in Vietnam means something bad. That you are gonna have a broken leg soon. I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it means you're in danger of crossing the streams.
Half a point.
I'd give her full one.
point.
But yeah.
Well, good thing you're
I know,
not doing
right?
the
Good
quiz,
thing.
Brian. We should all start making Ghostbuster references when Brian does quizzes.
True story.
Let's see. So the actual reason is because it's a symbol for a vagina, because that's what they think it looks like.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
I can stretch that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
The funniest
like,
thing
so-
is I was about to say dickless, like, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And that technically
Yeah.
would be sort of true, but not the intention that I was going with.
All right, so former U.S. Congressman Bill Richardson, while traveling to Iraq in 1995, offended Saddam Hussein. So much so that he just walked out of the room. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What did Bill do to offend Saddam while he was sitting down?
Being American. I'm going to go with he crossed his legs.
I'm gonna say the opposite. He spread his legs.
Okay.
So just to clarify, the congressman was sitting down, right?
Yes,
Okay.
the congressman was sitting down, yes.
I'm gonna go with tapping his foot.
It is... Craig was actually right on the money for that one. It is crossing his leg. And the reason is because showing the bottom of your shoe that is absolutely dusty and disgusting is considered offensive.
Oh.
Yep. Kind of like throwing shoes at former presidents.
Yeah, I was.
It kind of along those lines. You know, it's the shoes are dirty, and so
Mhm.
are you.
I was just going to go with it was somehow a more of a feminine look, and that is the offensive part. That was my thought process.
All right, negative one. No shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're
All right.
talking about a point there.
No, it's all right. You got it right. Question number 6. In Turkey, you should never do what with your hands? Because it's actually considered a sign of arrogance.
I'm going to go with what I'm doing right now, which is touch your face.
Okay.
I want to say clap.
Okay.
I'm going to say like crossing your arms.
It is actually quite simple. Putting your hands in your pocket.
Oh.
So you're supposed to be very arrogant if you're putting your hands in your pocket and just kind of standing there. Yeah.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
I know, right? In what country / region should you never show up to a party on time?
Mm.
I'm going to go with the USA.
I want to say France because they just seem like those kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
know?
gonna say Japan / East Asia.
It's actually any country in Latin America would have been acceptable.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like especially South America, like Venezuela, I think Argentina is
Really?
you never show up on time because you're like, I don't remember the reason, but it's like, yeah, you just don't show up. You're like, yeah.
But I mean,
Whenever.
if they scheduled at 7 and everyone knows that they're not supposed to be there at 7, so everyone shows up at exactly 7:30, isn't that
Yeah.
everyone showing up on time still?
I don't
Be
get it.
careful. You might destroy all of South America with that kind of talk. You just hear stock markets crash and South.
All right, and going right the opposite. What European country should you never be late to a party to?
I want to jump in. It's France because they seem like those kind of people.
I'm going to go with Switzerland.
Okay,
I'm gonna say Germany.
Michelle gets the point. It
Damn
is
it, I actually wanted
Germany.
to say Germany, but I thought the Swiss were funnier.
Yep. So they consider it being late, that you consider your time more valuable than theirs.
Oh, hey,
I could see that out of the Germans, though. Like out
Hey,
of the,
gotta
that's not a
respect
bad
those
thing.
guys.
Like,
They never
it's very,
showed up late
it's
in
ruthlessly
France.
efficient is what it's in my head, and I admire that.
Yep. Okay. Question number 8. Wait, that was 8. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck numbers. In what Asian country should you never laugh with your mouth open or show your teeth? Because you look like a horse and it's impolite.
So wait, you have to laugh like.
Sure.
No, there's a lot of south of the U.S. There's a lot of that too, because my former hairdresser that my mom would work with, she used to that used to bug the crap out of her, was anybody that was laughing. For girls to laugh and show their teeth was like, oh, holy crap, what are you doing type thing. But for Asian countries, I'm just going to go with China in general.
Okay.
I'm going to say Japan because you always see them go, with the little hand over their mouths.
Okay.
I'm gonna go off the kind of away from that and say like Cambodia.
Okay. It is actually Japan.
Yes.
Brian was correct on that one. Yep. All right. That was actually number 9. So we're going to go with 10. Which countries should you sit in the front of the cab? And there's a bunch. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries up for grabs. So I'll give everyone 5 guesses if they want it.
5 countries where you can sit in the front of the cab.
Yeah, where it's considered common. I'll give everyone a hint. I've been there to one of them.
Okay, well, that helps me out. Do you guys want to go first then?
France. I'm gonna get. I don't know. I'm gonna get. You said you guys 5 places, so I'll say France, China, England, Italy, and Mexico.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go with Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. I think it's just like Scandinavian.
There's 3 that I want to throw out there. I'm going to say that Scotland/UK. I'm going to go with, this is a continent, but Africa. Maybe I'll get a half a point on that one if it's right. And then, of course, you just got to be nice when you're up there in Canada. You sit right next to the person that's driving you.
Hey, I sat in the front seat in Chicago, so.
I'll give you 1 point, Michelle, because the Netherlands, Denmark, close enough. That was one of them. Craig, you're going to get 1 because of Scotland. I almost gave you 2 because you said the UK, but it's actually Scotland and Ireland. That was the first thing that happened. That was the first thing that happened to me. I got off of the plane to Scotland, and they opened the front door, and I was like, "All right, cool." So Scotland, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and the Netherlands. There you go.
Tough.
And I'm telling you, it's actually kind of fun. It's nice. You get to see where the fuck you're going. And especially in Scotland, it's beautiful. So, all right, let's go. Question number 10. Oh, wait, that was question number 10. God damn it, I'm having trouble tonight. In what Northern European country should you, if there's a party and everyone brings their own beer, you don't fucking touch anyone else's drink. You drink what the fuck you brought.
I'm going to go Ireland.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Scotland.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Norway.
Michelle got it right.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. The BY.
I mean, I was just like, I can picture that being like, hundreds of years in the past, and that's what fucking Vikings were like. Don't touch my beer.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. But then again, the Scottish are like always drunk, so I don't know. But yeah, nope. It's Norway. In the Middle East, India, and some of Africa, you should never use your left hand. Why? To touch on someone else's food, give them a handshake, or anything like that.
I know why.
I think it's considered dirty, and I think it's actually the hand a lot of people wipe with if they have paper to wipe with.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that people think that the devil lives in the left hand.
All right, Craig and Brian were correct. A lot of countries don't even have toilet paper, so they use their hand, specifically their left one. All right, and the last question. Fuck tipping. What Asian country should you never tip, as it is an insult?
I'm just going to, this is a pure guess, so Japan, because I said it once and it was right one time.
I'm going to go with China again. I think Japan might be right, but I'm going to go with China.
I was also going to answer Japan.
Ooh, and with Michelle guessing that one correctly, takes a lead with her half a point.
Ghostbusters got her the lead.
The Ghostbusters got her the lead.
Brian who did it. That's the best part.
Hey, you know what? I can't even be mad. If there's a Ghostbusters reference that if I will lose to anything, it better be a Ghostbusters reference.
All right, so Brian, you came in second place with 6, and Craig in last with 5.
And kind of felt like I started off hot too.
You
so
did.
5, 6, 6.5. That's pretty close,
That's
guys.
pretty good. That's pretty
that
good.
actually was
I made it a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. 'Cause I guess my little small hint's good.
I was sitting there waiting for you to bring up the Left 4 Dead, how they had to change Left 4 Dead 2 because they had the hands up like this.
Oh,
like
yeah. In like Europe, it's
yeah,
middle
you
finger.
have to switch it around for it to be anything.
Mhm.
I was waiting for that one. I was like, yeah, gamer question on that
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was
stuff.
too.
I would've
do
got it
that.
wrong.
I do a lot. Fair enough.
No, I mean, yeah, no. Well, the good news is though that at the end of the day, it's kind of a nice situation what we just did here. We all learned a little bit about other cultures, and we just get to learn about different behaviors. That's a good way to
Yeah.
And
quiz.
people listening to us potentially got to realize little fucked up things about America that they never realized.
That's
Dude,
true.
You know what the worst thing, like, and this is like this isn't really behavior or anything, but it's like engineering. Going to Europe or other countries, when you go into the bathroom and take a shit, there's not little slits that you can see in. There is floor to ceiling fucking doors and walls on every side. So you go take a shit in peace. You don't have to fucking... Yeah, so you know, all those Americans who are getting dunked on daily by looking in those cracks and seeing some fucking nuts or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't happen in Europe. They got it fucking right.
In the cracks.
Wait. That wasn't the end of the podcast, was it? Like, this is part of our conversation, or was that the dunk down moment? Because I was gonna say like
We've lost
because it was
Michelle.
a good behavior I wish that was normal was everyone would get a dunk on or something like that. That's what I was gonna go with. And then did you just use cracks in bathroom stalls watching people shit as our dunk on moment?
Yeah, I did.
Our podcast ended with people spying on people shitting.
Wait, so people got dumped on?